Connacht won the game, but Cardiff will take all of the plaudits for this one. My name's Mark. Let's talk rugby. We had a tribute to Barry John before kickoff in this one. It was actually nice to see. They had a set of or pair of his boots in, they're normally on display at Cardiff's Arm Park, and they had them on the plinth. And then one of his former teammates, was it Gareth Edwards, I think, laid like a jersey with his number on it as well beside that. So just a nice tribute, and it's always good to, it's not good to see that we're losing some of the stars of the game, but it's good to see that they're remembered. The players that maybe inspired some of the players of this generation, or maybe even before them. But it's good to remember those that came before you. I think with stuff like this, I think rugby, part of our history, maybe we could leave behind, but other parts, I think it's good to remember them. And it was just nice to see that. It's obviously sad for him and his family that we've lost him, but it's nice to see at least it's marked properly by the club and good respect from the crowd, with the silence and then the applause as well afterwards. But into the game then, Connacht, they win a penalty at the kickoff. It's very kickable, but they decide to go to the corner. Heffernan hits his man, then they set up the maul. Cardiff get in there and disrupt really well, and they make it unplayable, turn it over. So Cardiff's maul defence tonight was excellent throughout the game. Another penalty to Connacht then. Cardiff not releasing at the breakdown. JJ Hanahan lands the kick via the inside the post, as we said, 3-0 to Connacht. Cardiff then break through, and it's Tinas de Beer up the left wing, returning a kick that went a little bit too long. He steps, gets into that 22. Pass doesn't quite come off, but a real moment of danger from them. Connacht then starting to play with the ball in hand, but mostly it's in their own half. We then have a TMO check for head-on-head contact between Ray Lilo and Bolton. They decide it's a high level of danger, no mitigation. So red card to Lilo, and Connacht lose Bolton as well, who went for HIA and didn't come back, and you wouldn't expect him to come back. It looked like a bit of a sickening crack on the head, and I'm sure Lilo felt it as well. Cardiff though down to 14 men after 15 minutes. Rhys Kerr then with just a clever grubber kick as he's going down the tram lines close to the Connacht line, and puts it in behind Farrell. Farrell has to turn and collect it, and then Kerr drags him over his own line to win a 5-metre scrum to Cardiff. Just great work there from him. Cardiff then attack from the scrum. They're close to the line. They have penalty advantage, and they get it out to Ben Thomas, who cuts back inside to go over to score. Is converted by De Beer, and a 7-3 Cardiff lead, and very good value for that lead as well, because a lot of the time in this game, Cardiff, especially in that first half, they were the team that were putting the pressure on and showing attacking intent. Cardiff then put a deep kick into the Connacht 22. Andrew Smith claims it, turns, and then he does his best Matador impression as he sidesteps through past 3 different Cardiff players before Connacht are able to clear. Cardiff though continue to attack. They're pounding away to line. Thomas Young forces his way over to score. Connacht feel though that he was held up. Piadri, he's well placed. He feels that he's seen a grounding on that. The TMO though does step in because Young was in front of Belcher as he took the ball off him, so it's no try. Connacht then concede another penalty for not rolling away, and Cardiff go to the corner. Summerhill though offside at the line out, and it's an easy out for Connacht. And we saw both teams doing this actually during the game. Connacht a lot more than Cardiff, especially in the second half, where they get in a good position, and then rather than it being good play from the opposition, it's poor decision making or just silly errors, give away penalties or free kicks, and something that should have been real pressure for their opposition and a great chance for them to score turns into nothing for them at all. Connacht, they then have a period of possession in that Cardiff half. They are applying pressure, but accuracy isn't there, and that was a big problem for them tonight. A lot of the time is, when they did have some kind of sustained pressure, the accuracy kind of let them down. Hurley Langton, though, with a great carry, offloads to Smith deep into 22, beat him then with just a great covering tackle, and Cardiff get to the loose ball and are able to clear, but better signs from Connacht at that point. Blade then snipes off the back with a scrum about 10 metres out. Lepetti Tamani with a seatbelt tackle on him. He gets a yellow card. Penalty to Connacht. Cardiff down to 13 for 10 minutes. Connacht then go to the corner, set up the maul. Cardiff do well to stop them short legally, and then eventually they hold Connacht up over the line. Just really great defence from Cardiff there. Connacht, they win a penalty with a clock in the red. Ellis Bevan was off his feet. Hanrahan slots the penalty to make a 7-6 to Cardiff at half time. Into the second half then, Cardiff to drive a maul at the start of the half and force a penalty with Connacht under pressure. They then decide to go to the corner. The line out by Young is, they're basically like, they're forced into touch after the line out. Connacht, though, knock on as they're going over they go over the top from a 5 metre line out because they've driven Young into touch. So now they have a 5 metre line out, 5 metres from their own line. Decide to throw a 30 metre line out and it gets knocked on. Now you could say that the guy collecting it should have caught it, but why are you throwing it like that in the first place? And it felt like at that stage they just seemed to be imploding. And I couldn't honestly see them digging themselves out of this and getting a win, even though they had all, the advantages with the extra man. Connacht then, they recover from this. They win a penalty for holding on as Cardiff were threatening to score again. I think if Cardiff had gotten over to score there, where it was a self-inflicted wound for Connacht, that could have been enough. If they had added another score to maybe win the game. Cardiff again come at them though, and they go to the corner for another penalty. The maul goes close, then Tamani just back on from the sin bin. He goes over to score. De Beer misses the conversion and it's 12-6. So yeah, it looks like Cardiff are the ones who really have the threat in terms of scoring, and Connacht, they need to find something for somewhere. Now they start coming forward. They have some good carries from the likes of Prendergast and Blade as well, close to that line, but then Ford knocks on and just feel like they need some composure. Then we have a really weird up and down kind of few moments. First, Murray or Murray, as he likes to, I don't know why he pronounces his name like that, but he makes a carry into the Cardiff 22. It's a really good carry, but then Belcher gets in there. He turns the ball over for Cardiff. You're thinking, oh, great job by Cardiff. Then De Beer kicks the ball out in the full because it was carried back into his own 22. So then, it was like one way and the other, and all that happened within a minute of each other. Cardiff then, they put some pressure on at the breakdown, and Connacht are basically forced to play it on the ground. It was one of these ones where, you can see all the pressure coming through and they're going to drive over the ball, but the guy who has the ball is magically sliding towards his own guys on the ground. So it's very obvious a penalty, and Connacht actually get warned by the number of penalties given away, even though they're the attacking team. And the referees, I'm not saying that the referee is wrong. I'm saying that the referee is completely right, but it just shows how much pressure Connacht were under, even on their own ball, that they're getting a warning for the amount of penalties given away when they're in possession. Connacht then finally show some patience into 22. They actually go through some phases, and lo and behold, they actually drive over from close range. Dooley to score, Prendergast there in support. Hanrahan converts and Connacht in front, 13 points to 12, just sneaking it. Cardiff, They're beginning to tire now, though, and Connacht are forcing penalties. Hanrahan puts one of those over to make it 16-12. Cardiff then offside from a kick, and Connacht go to the corner, looking to put a bit of gloss on what has been a very poor performance from them. They get pinged for leaving the line out, and it just kind of sums them up tonight. You know, that they have a chance and they blow it. The game does end though 16-12 to Connacht, but it feels like Cardiff actually won. We're going to have a quick look to see if the stats have been updated, because for basically, like, this is the third game I've covered now this evening, and for none of them the stats have been updated in time. So at the moment it's still saying that Cardiff scored 2 tries to 0 in the game. So just looking at that, I know that it hasn't been updated for at least whatever happened in the final quarter of the game. So I can't trust them to give them to you, and I don't want to be giving you guys, you know, inaccurate stuff just because the official website hasn't been updated. And I've said it before, like, listen, if you need someone, you know, not paying them £1 million a year or whatever, like just an okay wage, if you want someone to update your stats for you and plug all this stuff in and get it up in a timely manner, listen, I'm your man. I'll do it, right? Just give me the job and I'd happily do it. I'd love to do some stats for the URC and maybe, you know, actually add on some more stats that people making videos like me would actually be interested in seeing. But at the moment, I don't know whether it's some kind of contract or it's some kind of feed or whatever they're doing, but it's just not up to date. And, you know, we're a while after the end of the game as well for it to be so far behind. Like, you know, it's at least 40 minutes behind, like, and that's a little bit crazy. But let's just talk about the two teams first. Let's talk about the winners first. Connacht. Normally I go home team, away team, but it feels like Connacht were the losing team, so I'll deal with them first. So Connacht, they won the game, so that's the positive coming out, and that's probably the only positive coming out of this game, because in terms of performance, they can't really take anything out of the performance other than a lot of stuff that they have to work on and they have to fix in terms of, you know, decision making and, you know, being able to be calmer when they have opportunities and be able to then just think through what they're going to do and move the ball, because there was space there all night, and move the ball to that space and then exploit it. So Connacht, though, in the shake-up now, because, you know, themselves and Cardiff are in that hunt for, you know, probably 7th or 8th spot, I would say, in the table. So obviously the win puts Connacht in a much stronger position now, but they now got to back that up. They've got to produce a performance and a win hand in hand in their next game if they can, because you can't be yo-yoing up and down the way they did through this match as well. Cardiff, a lot of positives for them. They had a lot of players away with the Welsh squad for the Six Nations. Obviously, they got a couple of those players back for this, but still a lot of young players in that team, and the young players have been performing really well all season, and some of them, you know, are with the Welsh national squad at the moment for the Six Nations, preparing to face Ireland next weekend. So there's a lot of kind of good things to see for Cardiff in the future, and like these guys are going to take a lot of heart from that performance. Doesn't matter whether they lost or not. It's the fact that, you know, they were able to take on a full strength Connacht side, stand toe to toe with them for much of the game, and, you know, until basically the exhaustion hit them, they were the better team in the game as well, and they were creating space and creating opportunities to score as well against that Connacht side, even though with a man down. So that's a lot of you know, good for them to take out of that. I thought as well the likes of Young and Kerr were very good for them as well, and a lot of the kind of their young players as well. Who was the guy? Let me have a look here. Actually, who was the guy that was a fullback? Was it what was his name? Beetham, yeah. Beetham, I thought, did really well at fullback as well, and De Beer went very well at 10. Tamani, when he came back on after his yellow card, looked good too. Belcher, I thought, had a great game as well. So plenty of positives for them to take. And again, in terms of the table, obviously the important point is Connacht got 4 points out of the game and Cardiff only got 1. But in terms of maybe a longer future, for Cardiff, because I do feel like this Cardiff team are a team that are going to build over the next couple of seasons, and hopefully finally we're going to get a Welsh team that can consistently qualify for, or at least threaten to qualify for, the knockout stages of the competition, because that's something we're missing in this competition is a strong Welsh team. It's been a long time since we had one. There was a period there, especially around when like Wales were doing really well too, when they were winning Grand Slams and stuff, that we had not just one but 2 or 3 strong Welsh regions in this competition, and it's a long time we missed that, and we want to see them there. I know there's a lot of talk about Welsh regions going into the Premiership and stuff like that, but I think this is their home. I hope they stay. If they leave, I can understand why they would, because maybe they feel more affinity with England, with it being so close to them and stuff like that. But I would love to see them stay. I'd love to see not just one but more Welsh teams being competitive, and that's what this league needs. We don't want whipping buys in the league. That's why I'm glad to see Zebre. They got a win, they got a draw this season, and they're being far more competitive. You saw them last night against Edinburgh, pushing Edinburgh all the way. A really good, decent Edinburgh side in decent form as well. And that's what we want to see from every team. We want to see every team being competitive, and we want to feel like that. Every team going into their games feels like, especially at home, feels like they have a chance to win it. And it feels like the Welsh regions are maybe starting to work towards that now, and it'd be a pity to kind of lose them when they're kind of entering that stage. But great performance from Cardiff. Connacht will just be happy to get out of town with the points.